Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to this little video that I'm making for you guys. In this video, guys, I just wanted to highlight a few mistakes that I made according with yesterday's NFP news release. Yesterday was a little bit tough. Tough, not in the sense of we lost money, but tough in the sense of the market was so volatile. There was a lot of traders in the market. It was tough. It was tough yesterday around 3 o'clock before Powell, John Powell, what's his name? The CEO of the Central Bank of United States of America, before he took out all the necessary stats. It was a little bit crazy, but we were able to take a trade. We made around let me just see. We made around 6% of our account size, which is decent. But I have to clarify. I I was actually aiming to risk a little bit more on this trade because I was waiting for this setup for a while. But the moment it was like 5 minutes before the news release were to happen, the moment I started loading up the positions and I wanted to put in the trades. Unfortunately, my broker didn't allow me. Apparently, I called them. Apparently, like they said, there was so much volatility in the markets, their systems, shut down or something. I don't know. They sent me an email telling me, oh, high volatility, something like that. So I was with the amount of money that I wanted to risk on this trade, we would have made easily, if the trades would have went in, we would have made easily 2,000 somewhere there. So I didn't make that initial amount of money, but as you all know that I have a few funded accounts that I'm trading with, so I made money on those accounts. But the money I'm talking about, it's more about play money, money that I just wanna flip and make more money faster. There was a risk of losing the money, but I was pretty sure with my analysis and pretty sure about where the direction of the market was going. So I was a little bit bummed out when I saw NFP come in and just hitting all my targets like no one's business within like a minute, like just like that. So I was a little bit bummed out because I lost money technically on the trade, but you know what? We're still profitable with this trade that I took. So it is what it is. So I'm just going to break it down uh, pretty quickly for you guys here. So anyway, guys, as you can clearly see, we're on the 5 minute time frame right now. As you can clearly see, we were with we were on this level of 1 hour resistance, which we can clearly see that the market was holding. So around 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, I was sitting on the charts and I was watching it, and I was like, okay, so the market on the 136,788 level, it's rejecting, doesn't want to go up. So that means that, okay, so now technically our downtrend is still continuing because as we can clearly see, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, market structure. So I thought to myself, okay, the market does not want to continue pushing up till the upside by 137,158. So I was like, okay, so my analysis right now, my bias, my direction is sells. We are going to sell, because of market structure. Market can't just do random things at random time. It has to follow a structure. It has to follow a pattern that we know about. So on the 1 hour time frame right here, as you can clearly see, we have rejected this 1 hour level of support. I mean resistance. So that right there, this candlestick right here just told me that we are going down. I was like, okay, we're going down. So I jumped to my 5 minute time frame because we were nearing the news release, and I was starting to look for structure there, so that I can make sure that I'm taking my trades, based on correct structure, not just randomly. So as you can clearly see here, guys, we had a double top, basic stuff. The market rejected, it broke out of this resistance and it started going down. The moment the market broke out of this resistance, it was like, okay, now it's a definite thing, we're going down, right? So I waited. It kind of played around here, as you can clearly see, kind of consolidated because there was just so many buyers and sellers in the market. It was just crazy. The amount of volatility was happening on those candlesticks was crazy, right? So, I was a little bit hesitant to even trade that day because of the whole, it was just crazy. The market, the candlesticks were going up and down. It was crazy. So finally, before the news release, 3:30 or so, we saw that, okay, the 5 minute time frame, we saw that, okay, we are now having a break of this low of this structure. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, so the market is going to do a lower low, right? We need to do a lower low before we can do a higher low, before we can take a trade. So I waited it out. We just waited, and it came all the way down to this level of support here on 136,612. So I thought to myself, okay, now this is a little bit scary because if the markets keep on pushing down, I'm not going to have an entry because the markets, it can push down. It's still part of a downtrend. So I was waiting for a break. I was waiting for it to continue pushing down. I was going to take a breakout set up to continue back down. But fortunately, market didn't do that. We came back up, back to this level of resistance, and I was like, okay, now it's our setup. It's our setup that we know that we've tested for multiple months and whatever. We know the setup. It's a break and retest. It's easy. It's an easy break and retest that we know of, right? So I was like, okay, good. Now I'm a little bit more confident in the fact that this trade will go in our favor because we have tested the setup and we have seen the setup and we know that this setup most of the time works. So what I did, that's the time when I started thinking, okay, this setup is good. Let me put more money on it, right? But obviously, I have explained to you why I didn't make more money on that trade because of the broker's technical difficulties, I guess. So I was waiting. I was waiting right now. We can clearly see that we're having a little nice shooting star. We can clearly see that the market on this level is rejecting. It doesn't want to go up. It wants to go down because, market structure. So I was a little bit hesitant to get in right here because like NFP, CPI, PMI, all these major news events, they don't just go down. They kind of play a little bit, go up a little bit, stop out all the guys who've put like their stop losses pretty close, and then it starts tumbling back down. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna wait for this setup to kind of give me a movement to the downside to show that, okay, we are going back down, right? So I waited a little bit, I waited. And by the way, my nerves were going crazy. I was getting like news and press releases. I was getting emails and messages and like, it was just crazy. So I ended up, as we can clearly see, the market was starting to reject, as I've said, and I was just waiting for the right time. This is the moment where I got in. I got in on this level, on this candlestick that just started to push down. I was like, okay, now we're on it, we're going, right? The reason why I got in this trade is because, and I got in a little bit early before NFP. The reason why I got in is because I knew that it was gonna be hectic, so I got in like earlier, right? So I just waited it out, and I was just very calm. I wanted to know what was going to happen because I planned this, right? So as I've been like I'm waiting anxiously for the market for the news to come out. We are waiting, and price starts coming back like to my stop loss, right? To my break even point, and I'm starting to hesitate. Oh, maybe I didn't do a right decision. Maybe as you can clearly see, it is rejecting this level. But I held firm to my analysis, and I was like, okay, you know what? I know this thing. I'm going to stick at it. If I lose, I lose. But I have confidence in what I'm doing. So we waited, and by this point, as you can clearly see, guys, there was literally 5 minutes before the news release were to happen. 5 minutes, right? So, like, I'm stressing right now. Like, I'm sweating. I'm not in a good space, but I waited it out. I waited it out, and there's the candlestick. The moment as you can clearly see, this is 15:29. So there was 1 minute left, and then after that 1 minute, I saw this huge bullish candle, and I was like, okay, now we're going. Now it's gonna be fun, right? And guess what? It was. We can clearly see the market um, tanked till 136,225, which is, let me, if I can just calculate it, uh, it's about 80 pips. Now, 80 pips doesn't sound a lot for a lot of people, but I'm a scalper, so for me, I'm used to like 5, 10 pips. So to catch a move around 80 pips, that's not every day that you catch such a move, right? So I was happy. I was very glad that my analysis was right. I was ecstatic. I was in a good mood all of a sudden. So as I'm seeing the candlesticks, I can clearly see that okay, the candlesticks wants to come back up. So that's when fear got to me, and I was like, oh no, I don't want to lose all this profit that I made. You know what? I'm closing, because you know how it gets once you see, like money, like in about a few seconds, you see, oh, all of a sudden, I was risking $100. All of a sudden, I'm up $500. That thing comes to your mind. You're like, oh damn, I need to close now. I don't want to lose this profit, whatever. So I closed, and I'm a little bit surprised I closed early, because price continued to go back down. It went all the way down, like all the way down to, I would say, the 4-hour level of resistance, right? And I know a lot of people will be like, ah, but you're nitpicky, you made good money, yada yada. But in my mind, you always have to improve on what you're doing. And in my mind, I could have and I should have held it longer. But it's okay, I made money, I'm okay. So as you can clearly see, like, the markets will continue going down. So a thing I've learned about this trading day is that, first of all, as I've stated before, the other account, I didn't make money on my other account because of the whole broker stuff. But I've also realized that you should actually, when like it's these big massive news events or news releases, I'm talking about, the PMIs, the CPIs, the NFPs, all these big guys, where usually the minister or the CEO of some type of central bank, or even like these high profile people, when they talk and they give out their stats and information, that's why usually, like, these trades, you don't enter them like 2 minutes before the news release comes. No, you start off maybe 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, to give yourself enough room where you know that, okay, I place this trade, and it, like, the spreads are going to be super thin. I know here that I'm going to either have a successful trade or not, right? Rather than to just jump in a trade just because, Fed Powell is speaking or whatever. It's not going to work like that, because then the market becomes overinflated, and, you're not getting a real good price on the pair, because everyone's buying it or everyone's selling it. So then you get this spread, and it just doesn't work. And sometimes even the broker won't place the trade for you because, as I've stated, most of the not most, but the brokers' systems can be a little bit slower because of activity in the market that time. So really placing your trades a few minutes before time really helps. And the other thing I just realized that especially with news releases like this, there's a lot of emotions running around the trade that you're going to take. A lot of emotions. I'm talking, one moment you're scared, one moment you are a little bit envious that you closed, not at the desired target that you wanted to close. You wanted to make more money. Like, there's a lot of emotions that come into play. So you gotta keep yourself very calm in these types of time, because if you don't know or you can't control your emotions, you're gonna make reckless decisions, especially when trading high volatility news like this. So yeah, guys. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to share with you this little video. I hope you get a little bit of insight on what I'm speaking about. If I'm talking nonsense, comment down below. Tell me I'm talking nonsense, and we'll have a little bit of a conversation. But this is the things that I've seen with my own trading and what I've seen yesterday. So yeah, anyway guys, if you enjoyed this content, please go down below and go like and subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you guys very, very soon.